Hi everybody, I'm doing another video on the Gti Pro Lite and the fake version. Now, I'm not trying them against each other as far as paint wise goes, because I'm still in a bit of a quandary with that. I'm not sure whether to actually do it or not really, because I suppose I've bought one, but I didn't really want to give it like too much airtime, if that makes sense. But I do feel strongly that some people are being sold fake ones that think they're real, and that's mainly on various internet sites and various places like that people who may not know what they're getting. So I thought I'd do another video, and I'll link the other videos up so that people can see the old videos I've done. So I won't go into the end caps too much like I have before, because there's another video that explains that. But I'll go through what I know and try and get everything I know in one video, if that makes sense. But the things to look for if you're looking like on a an auction site or whatever to see whether you think it's real or not, there's a few things that you can see just by looking at the pictures, which will inevitably be in the description. And what I've said before is this part of the handle here, this part here, is different to the real one. The real one has got much more, you see it here, much more of a curve. You can see the two. One's much more curved than the other. So that's something you can see visually when you see a picture, on wherever, when you buy these things. So that's one thing to look out for. Another thing, which I've said before, is there's a plastic holder here, just in here. That's on the original. And last time I used two black ones, but I've got a gold one. The gold one is the real one, and the black one is the imposter. So you can see this plastic shroud here behind the trigger. There's your trigger, and there's a plastic shroud behind there. Well, that's missing off the fake one. You can see there, underneath there, that's missing. It's literally just, if you look, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can just see it's a round metal insert in there that the needle goes through. So that's something you can look out for as well, on these on the photos, etc. The other thing, which can be a bit misleading, the other thing is these caps. You see the original cap has like a dull aluminium finish, and the fake ones always have a shiny finish. Now, one thing that I've noticed people on social media things and things like that have put, is this real? They're thinking of buying one second hand, and they put a picture of it. Is it real? And people always say, oh no, the end cap's wrong. It's definitely not. It's the end cap. It's not a real one, because the end cap. Well, if you're looking at a Gti Pro, which is the older version of the Pro Lite, the end caps were like this. The end caps were a shiny chrome. So if it's a Gti Pro with a shiny cap, then chances are it's real, because the only ones they make, as far as I know, of the fake ones are Pro Lite, although they are virtually a fake of the Pro rather than the Pro Lite. But they all say Pro Lite to give it the sort of like latest edge, I suppose, is the idea of it. End caps I won't go into, but you will see the end caps are different. That's a TE20. You can see the end caps are slightly different. The holes are bigger on this one, the fake one. But I've done a complete video on the end caps, so I'll link that in, so that if you just stumble over this, you'll see that one as well. Another thing is, which is harder to see on a picture to get an idea, but this part here, which is the intake for the air, is quite different. It's much bigger, so it's nearly the size of this part here. Nearly the same size, so it's slightly smaller, whereas with the real version it's actually quite a bit smaller. You can see it's quite a bit smaller. So let's have a look inside them, and we'll see what we're doing. The other thing is the weight, by the way. The real one is, I made a note of it here, is 460 grams, which is 16.226 ounces for you guys in the US, and the fake one is 180 grams, which is 20.459 ounces. So it's about 20 to 25% heavier, and it feels, well, it feels about 50% heavier, to be honest, in the hand. But it is quite heavy, but you're not going to see that on pictures, are you? So, you know, the idea is to try and give you an idea if you're looking at something on pictures. So let's quickly whip these two bits out. Now I'll whip these bits off. Now with these needles, they are actually a different size. The needle is a different size, so they won't interchange with each other, and so too are the nozzles. So let's take this off. Ooh, nearly lost that. Yeah, the nozzle thread is actually different as well, only by a millimetre, but you'll see what that millimetre makes a difference of in a minute, because one of your nozzle, oh, it's not under pressure. Somebody shoot me for doing that. Not literally, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so this is the fake nozzle, and if we measure this now, for you guys in the States, unfortunately I've only got metric here, but it's you can see it's 10.75, so it's 10.75, 10 3/4 millimeters in diameter, whereas the proper one is actually 11.75. You can see there, 11.75. I know it says 0.75, but it's moved one more cog over this bit here, this bit here. So it's actually 11.75, and we can see that in the, let's take that out for the moment. That's the original, obviously goes in there well on the, so that's the original for the proper Devilbiss gun. This one here just drops in. See where it just drops in? So that millimetre of thread means that they're totally not interchangeable at all. So that's one more thing. The other thing is the size of the needle. Now this is the original, so if we take it on the second part, you can see there's actually two diameters here. There's one there, and then it tapers down into this one here before it tapers to the final point. But if you look at that there, ooh, wrong hole, that is just over 3 millimeters, and the fake one is, ooh, we moved off naught, but the fake one is nearly 3.5 millimeters, so it's half a millimeter difference. So the result is that if you try and use an original Devilbiss needle in the fake gun, it flops all over the place and leaks fluid. And if you try and use a fake needle in an original Devilbiss gun, it just won't go in there. I can try and show you, but you'll see that it doesn't go in there, and I'm not going to force it in. So that's another thing to watch. What else? This part here, this is the original, and it has a plastic pin. I think there's a good reason for having a plastic pin as well, but the pin is also a different diameter. The real pin, I won't put it up to the screen because it's hard to see anyway, I think, but the real pin is, make sure this is still on naught. The real pin is 2.1 millimeter, and the fake pin, which is still in here, is metal, not plastic. And the reason I said before about being plastic v metal, I've had these ones, in fact this one, go rusty. I've shined it up again, and I put it in a drill actually with a little bit of wet, really fine wet and dry, but even with that it's still nearly 3/4 of a millimeter bigger than the other one. And if you look at the gun's sorry, bigger, smaller, 3/4 millimetre smaller. If you look at the guns, let's take that baffle off. If you look at the guns, you can see that one hole is bigger than the other. So the gold hole, which is the original, is bigger by about 3/4 mil or something like that than the black one. You can also see, if you look there, two slight cutouts, one there and one over the other side, which is missing on the fake gun. So that's something else to watch. I've written a load of things down there. Oh, make on the handle. Yeah, a couple of people have said, oh, but yours says Devilbiss, which it does. But a lot of them say Devilbiss. Some of them say Nita or different makes. Some on this cap, Dart. You know, they say different things. But a lot of the fake ones do say Devilbiss. So they are trying to be a fake gun rather than just a copy. And they're all the same. They all come out the same factory. As far as I can see, they all come out the same factory. What else? The tip. With the tip, you don't generally... Where's the camera down there? No, come on. Come on, camera. Yeah, you don't generally get any writing on there at all. But some of the later ones do now have some writing on it. It says Pro 200, which is the original part number of a Gti Pro Lite tip. It says Pro 200, and then it will say 12, 13, 14, or whatever it's supposed to be, like the original, but it's actually written differently to the original. So come on. Yeah, so there's the original. The original says Devilbiss Pro 200. Now none of them have Devilbiss written on them, and none of them have the actual size, like you can see just there. This is 1.2 on the end of the hexagon. None of the fake ones have that. So that's another thing to look out for. What else have I missed? Anything? Oh yeah, the original will have a little torque key or tech screw there, ready to take if you want to take the handle out for cleaning, etc. But the fake ones always have an Allen head. They don't have a torque screw. So that's that one. What we got? Allen screw, chrome on head, size of thread, metal pin. I think I've done about all of it. Number on the tip. Yeah, I think I've done all of it. So I think that's about as best I can do, really. So that the idea, as I say, is so that people can see on pictures that they're getting a fake one, because you know, especially on some of the marketplace places, there are people are putting these things on, and we're in the UK, and they're selling them, saying they're like new, etc., and they're selling them for 200 quid, and they are selling them as well. So people are buying them thinking that they've got the real thing, but they haven't. So I hope that's helped a bit. Anyway, I'm sorry if the video's gone on a bit, but there's a fair bit to remember. I'm just hoping I haven't left anything out. All right then guys, thanks for watching. Cheers.